Good Thursday morning, and welcome to Ice Age TV, the internal combustion engine age YouTube channel that talks about my cars and my trucks and my SUVs and my motorcycles. Good morning there from sunny Tennessee. Yeah, I got a little trim job yesterday. It's the anniversary. My wife and I are 27 years in the marriage. Second marriage for me, 5 for the first, 27 for second. Not too bad a batting average. And yeah, just beautiful down here in the Tennessee Smoky Mountain area, eastern part of Tennessee. And so, wow, what a road trip yesterday. Fun time. Come to find out, my Bronco is broke. Yeah, the Bronco's broke. Something's going on up here in the front end. I think up here in the transfer case, or I should say the front differential gearbox or the CV joint. I thought it was the engine at first. I think I got a front differential issue going on here. So the Bronco is broke, and now here I am way down in Tennessee. My selling dealers that know me personally that go out of their way to help me out sometimes. Yeah, what do I do? It's just, I haven't even made a phone call yet to find out my options. Figured I'd first do my video, keep the conversations going here as I do my morning thing. And I guess the conversation today is, what do you have that hasn't broken, right? Who hasn't had a vehicle that's broke? Who hasn't gone broke? I mean, broke can be talked in many, many ways. But for me, I've been very fortunate. That's one thing I thought to myself this morning about having this conversation was I have been so lucky. If you think through how many cars, if you're watching my channel, if you just have witnessed how many vehicles I buy and all the, just buy, sell, trade, all this stuff, try to keep the camera from going all over the place. I think people kind of get a little car motion sickness with trying to follow me in this camera everywhere. But anyways, I mean, for me, I've been blessed. It's been the car gods on how I have bought so many vehicles, yet I haven't really had major issues with most of the cars. And I've thought that to myself so many times on how I constantly buy cars. Hop, here comes the baby. What's my little baby doing? Hi there. Yeah, hi. So for me, it's just incredible how many cars I've owned in my lifetime, and I really haven't had many at all that have had major problems. I mean, I don't even think I could count on one hand, after buying probably 300 plus vehicles in my lifetime. And so this is really truly a first. And even though I think about it, I think to myself, when I go out and get another vehicle, I just gave up. I just gave up my really nice cactus gray Raptor. Flawless, no issues, no problems. Hey, morning. And there's a nice morning look, isn't it? Yeah, wow, yikes. Keep an eye on the puppies. And so for me, I gave up my cactus gray Bronco only to get this black Bronco, and now I've got problems. And what's really kind of, what's going on over here? That's all right, they're okay. They're just playing. But what's really kind of interesting is I typically will drive a vehicle around my hometown a good 1,000 miles or more just to make sure that the car doesn't have issues, because that's usually you find out very early in the game of buying a new car. Typically the problems are going to happen. They happen within the very early stages of the vehicle, and so that was a huge mistake on my behalf. I should have driven this vehicle more before I actually decided to take it on a road trip. So, but at the same time, the vehicle was built November of last year, and I just kind of thought, it's already had some mileage on it. So, yeah, so woe's me, right? Woe's me. But once again, for all the cars I've owned in my lifetime, I've been blessed and not having many problems. I guarantee you, some people on the channel could say, man, I've bought cars and just like one after another, been nothing but problems and junk. And you hear people commenting that all the time. But hey, I'd never buy a Ford product, because the Ford product that I owned.
I wanted to drive the 85,000 mile Ram Cummins 2500 black straight pipe, but that would break down Even though I've driven it 3,000 miles around our property.
It's kind of running rough. It's idling. It's not idling right. That thing needs to be, something's going off that truck. The kid doesn't want to hear it, but that truck's not running right now. So I don't have confidence on that. Plus, the transmission isn't shifting right. She says, here's the kid wanting to get the two-door Wrangler with a clutch recall. Didn't want to hear. So, yeah. So, anyway, broke. And what's the old saying? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. She's inside the garage here. She's inside the the old saying is, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, gonna make some people, hey, you're moving around too damn much. Yeah, I hear you. So, it's really curious. Here, are these the eggshells from our house? There's no way. Don't I like those little blue eggshells from our garage?
Yeah,
there's no way this truck, at the speeds we went yesterday, those things stayed on the truck. There's no way. Just blow with your own breath. So I guess they did. Okay, there you go. I mean, good Lord. Yeah, it's all over the place. Yeah, how do I making conversations on here is not simple. I get interrupted on the broke conversation. So for the car industry, is the car industry getting ready to go broke? Is the car industry breaking things? I mean, are they breaking the norm? I mean, I just myself on the car industry, they're just wanting to reinvent the whole car industry that is going to break the system. I mean, does the total conversion from ICE to EV just totally break the system? And what I mean by that is you get the whole electric charging infrastructure to deal with that is being built as we speak. You just have the total green agenda at the gluteus maximus of our lifetime that is going to break what works. I mean, the ice age works. The whole infrastructure, all on the continued what if, on to get to zero emissions. And I mean, wow. And I'm sure many here, well, just like me, it's just you question, how radical and extreme this is getting, and when it's just going to, in the end, be a broken solution. I mean, in the end, does it really accomplish what so many think it's going to accomplish? And I thought to myself the other day, there's going to be 500,000 charging stations by 2030, but yet there's 300 million cars in the country. But yeah, right. But how many of those would be electric vehicles by 2030? I mean, will it be 5 million, 10 million, 20 million, 30 million? I mean, you have to really get the calculator out and start factoring all the numbers. But here's the thing. First, Stellantis read a very in-depth conversation.
I have to go talk to Mom.
Okay. I read a very in-depth conversation on Stellantis is going to go broke if they're not careful. Carlos Tavera or Tavares, whatever, however you pronounce his name, CEO of Stellantis, he is, oh my gosh, this guy is ramped up the pressure. This is crazy. He is going to eliminate 31,000 salaried positions just in this country on the Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Chrysler, product line. So right now he's in the process of trying to eliminate 31,000 salary people, another 2,500 hourly people. So you're talking basically close to 34th. It's like 31.5 and 2,500. So basically 34,000 people are getting ready to be let go from Stellantis to cut down the expenses, the overhead, because the CEO sees that if they're not careful, they're going to go broke. And right now, they've put on hold in Canada a major battery EV plant manufacturing project because Canada is not giving them the money. Canada promised all those subsidies to help them build this plant, and they're not putting the money on the table. So they put that on hold and are arguing with Canada. Over in Europe, they're arguing with Fiat. In Italy, with the union people. And they've already eliminated 4,000 jobs. But the Italians aren't happy with Stellantis and how they're being treated. But the CEO sees China is going to start just dominating the cheap vehicles. They're in here, pups. and the cheap EV vehicles, and even a point that they may pull out of China. They may just focus more on India and other parts of the markets in the world and just abandon the China market because he just doesn't think they can compete on how they're just going to build very inexpensive giveaway cars. And so is Stellantis going to break Jeep? They've already idled a Jeep plant here in this country for a while. And that's the conversation, is all the manufacturers are now kind of getting through the hurdles of all this supply chain issue that broke the whole system. And finally, the system has kind of gotten back in place because of the chip manufacturers and the suppliers for the products to build cars. So those are coming more back online on a more consistent basis. But now the challenge is that the heyday of them presenting, be so lucky to buy a car, they're now at the point where they may be overbuilding cars to actually demand for the cars. So it's kind of, Stellantis truly is borderline back to the old business model. And if you drive around, I noticed the Jeep, Dodge, Ram dealerships, they usually have a pretty decent, healthy inventory of mixture of vehicles. And yeah, they still are challenged with some of the higher end vehicles, but overall, they seem to be getting much healthier. And in talking about chip manufacturers, oh my gosh, have you heard about Nevada? And it's like NI, it's like NVI, IDA or something. Hey, Julia, the dog has a treat for you out here. Ginger, why do you do that? By one dog. She doesn't want to get a little furry. She doesn't want to get her furry tail. You don't get your furry tail my butt on the grass. So what does she do? She uses the concrete. Ginger, you goofball. She does that all the time in my driveway. What is that all about? Yeah, she doesn't want to get her little hiney wet on the grass. Yeah, did I break her in right? Did I train her right? Yeah, yeah, well, in some ways, you gotta say, yeah, give her credit. Anyways, artificial intelligence, if you're following the market, talk about what's gonna break mankind is this artificial intelligence. It's just incredible. This new manufacturing of these new semiconductors, TSMC, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, who's building semiconductor chips by the masses, and their stock is growing because of this company out of Santa Clara, California. Come here, and it's like Nvidia or something like that. And I just read about them this morning. And once again, come here, Ginger, get over here. They are building chip processing capability that it's the highest level ever for artificial intelligence. And that's what's going on. This new AI, the generative pre-trained transformer, more than ever. We got kitty cat marks over here. The kitty cats are walking on my pride and joy. Yeah, the kitty cats. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to get a car cover for this thing. They're guilty. The kitty cats, are they walking on my bikes? Yeah, so the conductor business, it is gaining huge sales because of the OpenAI, artificial intelligence. And it's so the demand for artificial intelligence semiconductors is happening. Or it's going to be used in so many. I'm going to step in. I'm getting ready to my brand new Crocs I bought yesterday at Cabela's, Bass Pro Shops. I'm getting ready to break them in right now. I'm going to break them in right now with the dog poop on them. So the artificial intelligence is going to break mankind. Who doesn't believe that? Who doesn't believe that the elimination of jobs? I mean, it's being talked about left and right. The elimination of jobs from artificial intelligence is going to happen. So for individuals, what are they going to do for a living? Are they going to go broke? I mean, more than ever in our society, are we getting ready to witness a transformation of the computers truly taking over mankind's jobs and responsibilities? Is it really going to play out? I mean, are we just pea-brained and it's just bigger in our world than we want to accept or realize that it's just too big a world. There's always going to be demand for people to have work. I don't know. So yeah, does the artificial intelligence create more people being broke. And that's where I guess you get into talk to socialism, where people think the federal governments are going to have to just pay people just because so many people are being employed. Is that the next phase that we're going to witness in our lifetime? That the automotive sector is just a direct reflection of automated technology and artificial intelligence in cars, self-driving vehicles. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. The what mechanics used to work on ICE vehicles, they won't work on EV vehicles. And does the artificial intelligence figure out how to do a software reboot update on a car where a mechanic doesn't need to be there to be a part of it? The vehicle drives itself to a dealership or a facility for it to be serviced. That's robotic. I mean, it's infinite if you start thinking through all the variables and what's going to break the system. So the existing system we have, is it going to go broke? You'd have to honestly say that you would have a tendency to think that where we are, that those variables are, I would say, very likely. And then at the same time, I've talked about it too, is when does the car market start to go broke because of the production of building cars once again, and the over sales of cars, where people start to pull back and they don't need all these vehicles. And the remote working has created many businesses to go broke. I've talked about this numerous times. It's the remote working has created these major office buildings to go broke. The major public transportation sector is going broke in many cities. I mean, you can just start relating with remote work to going broke. And then at some point, all these people are remote workers that are the techie people, come on, stay here. Is that a direct, eventually, relationship to no longer having a job because they work behind a computer all day? Come here, pups. And that type of job is replaced by the OpenAI, the artificial intelligence. And that's what's going on. Read it on the Wall Street Journal or any Bloomberg, whatever it may be. Go to these different, go to the internet and get this information, where you're going to see that this semiconductor, them building these semiconductors at the highest level of processing and being able to do things more than ever, is happening as we speak. And it's growing by leaps and bounds, which is feeding the artificial intelligence to advance at the biggest level ever in our modern times. All right, got the kid here and the wife here. We're going to go get breakfast. You really can't. It's much more challenging down here trying to take care of the family, and because they're not working, going to school. So, it's breakfast time. We get the heck out of here. So we're gonna get off the road. But I just like to keep the morning conversation going. And I watched the Twitter feed on Ron DeSantis and Elon Musk and other individuals, and I actually watched the recorded side. I didn't see the live side. And apparently there's up to maybe at one time 700,000 viewers. Stay here, you stay here. And but it was like a 350,000. I thought it was a good thing. I think that's pretty creative for Elon. I give Elon, a lot of people thanked Elon for Twitter, him buying Twitter, and him trying to help there be more truth than more not so much the truth, and his views and ideas. Yeah, there were just many high-level ranking people that got on that conversation with Ron DeSantis announcing his presidency yesterday. It was like a 6:30, I think. It was 6 o'clock or 6:30, I think, live feed on his new Spaces thing on Twitter. But a lot of people just really thanked Elon for really buying out Twitter to make it much more of an open social platform that hopefully can have a lot more things talked about openly instead of being kind of hidden in conversation. So I think it was a great thing. It's the first time ever there's been a president, or I should say a candidate that's going to run for presidency, ever announce his presidency through this type of way of networking or social, or however you want to say it. And once again, I thought it was good. I think Ron did a great job on answering questions, and I myself think Ron is a good guy to see continue to go through the the stages of seeing what he has to offer us. And I think it's foolish for anybody out there to not want to hear different views from different candidates and just all of a sudden come to terms that everybody's fixated on one person. I think that's a mistake. I think that we should have different candidates come along and challenge other candidates to see who we really feel brings the country together versus separates it. And if anybody here is in real time, the sitting administration and sitting president, his presentation was he would bring the whole country together. Is anybody feeling that? His whole presentation was he would tax the rich and reward the poor and the middle class. Is anybody feeling that? He also, presented that how he would get things more in line for the social welfare of the country. Is anybody feeling that? I mean, it's pretty incredible. If you just kind of go through the list of where we are right now in the sitting administration and the sitting president, all I really ever hear is more talk about being critical of another candidate, but I don't hear so much about the people that support this candidate talk about what's actually played out so far in their presidency. And something really to think about too, there's constant rhetoric about how this new Inflation Reduction Act is the biggest investment in our country in modern times of creating business, creating jobs, creating infrastructure, creating it's a new Green Deal energy package, really. But nobody really talks in great lengths. It's all at the taxpayers' expense. So you have a city administration that's bragging about how so many businesses are coming to this country and so many businesses are setting up shop to transform the fossil fuel industry into the renewable energy. But what's not really talked a lot about that is it's the biggest taxpayers' advance of monies ever into the private sector to enrich the private sector to so-called change the system that I think many think will break the system because it's so expensive. It's so expensive to the taxpayers, and the end product is going to be very expensive for your alternative energy, your renewable energy, over the fossil fuel energy. So, but you hear constant rhetoric about how this city administration is doing so much to grow this country's economy and to bring big business here, but at the same time, for the consumers and the taxpayers, they're paying for all this. So I think somebody needs to step back and say, yeah, this is great. Yeah, this is fantastic that we're doing all this stuff. But what doesn't make any sense to me is everything's more expensive, and if for some reason I'm paying the way for all these people to get themselves rich. Yeah, it's a broken system, right? I mean, we all know that the government and the country we live in, it seems to be becoming more of a broken system. I mean, is it? I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's kind of radical, but at the same time, does it seem like the system is getting better? Does it seem that, we're advancing to better times? I mean, I don't know. I think there's a lot of different ways you can look at that. But anyways, all right, everybody. Hey, thanks for watching my channel. You kind of keep it at that, a little shorter than it usually is. A little shorter than longer, I should say. And once again, thanks for watching my channel. Appreciate all the support and nice comments, and share the information, and have a great day. God bless. Stay tuned. What are we doing next?